Alright, the players look like they're just about ready to finish setting up, so we will get started here soon. Just hang tight, and we will get going here momentarily. Alrighty, it's that time, finally. Looks like they're just about done setting up. So here we go. Let me make sure that that is killed. And we'll start that up. Get a little background noise going. Alright, so looks like we have a matchup here between Kingsley, running the droids from CIS, versus Col-Ki, running the rebels. So, with that said, they are, and I need to modify this actually real quick, because this is not 100% correct. I need to modify the map. This was still left over from last time. So they are on Starkiller. They are playing key positions. They are on, what is this, advanced? I believe that's correct. Advanced? Yep. And then they are playing hostile. Alright, so we got our map loadout here, ready to go. Move that back into the frame so you can see it. Oh, boo hiss. Let me modify that. There we go. A few things overlapping a bit, so we make it work. Okay, so there we go. That's all set. Go back to this guy, so I have my alerts up and running. Okay, so as we were saying, key positions. Let's go over the positions. So looks like Cole selected the little barricades right here to be his key position. Kingsley selected the what looks like this sandbags over here to be his key position. And then the center is going to be these woods. So that is where they're all going to fight over. Alright, so why don't we go over the lists while we wait for them to finish setting up. Let's go with the Rebels first. So they have Luke Skywalker running push and stims, which is pretty typical Luke. We have Sabine over here running endurance, shield, and recon, which is going to be interesting because she does not have the Darksaber. So that means that her attacks are going to be predominantly range, but with that shield, she can pretty much effectively get in a position and sit there and recover fire every single turn and be pretty content bleeding off all her suppression as well as regenerating that shield for a free block and then just firing with her blaster with a gunslinger all day and night. So, then in addition to that, we have 2 Rebel Troopers here with the Z6 and Medic. We have 2 Rebel Troopers here with the Z6, and then a naked set of Troopers. Then we have 3 sets of Sabs with stims and charges, of course. So that will be an interesting play to see them go against the droids, who typically won't hop in to closer combat. They typically will form a gun line, so it'll be interesting to see how well those commandos do on a board such as this, where there's an objective here and throwing a bunch of mines on it might not go so well for the droids. So, speaking of droids, let's go take a look over at them. Kingsley has, starting off, General Grievous with his blaster. He has aggressive tactics, so he's going to be handing out up to 4 surge tokens. Strict orders, so that he can remove 1 suppression if he chooses to per order token that's face up, and endurance, so that he removes his own suppression at the end of the turn. Alright, or at the end of the activation phase. So, not too terrible. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of droids featuring the E5, the blaster with the 3 black, as well as a bonus B1. We then have 1, 2 droids with HQ uplink, the E60 rocket launcher, and the droids as well. So a very giant die pool from both of these, especially with the uplinks here to be basically reserve troopers to make sure tokens get handed out. And then finally we have 2 sets of droidecas. So they're going to be firing a plethora of die here, so a whopping 6 die, 2 red, 4 black for the total unit. At 1 to 3, that's suppressive, which will be huge, especially in hostile environment. They have shields, which will help, generator, which will help regenerate those shields, and wheel mode if they need to get it going anywhere. Alright, so we'll let them set up. I'm going to double check to make sure that I have my thing up here correct. Now they all say E5, which is not right. So 2 of those with the uplink need to be changed to E60s. So let's go ahead and modify that real quick. That's a simple fix here. I actually did a copy and paste earlier from something else, so that is probably why it's not working out how I want. E60. There we go, and then E60. Done and done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, everything else looks right. So we have 9 on 10 activations, with droids being the 9. So we're going to see how this goes. So welcome everybody, and I hope you're ready to see what looks like another interesting match of droids. This time piloted by the expert Kingsley against Col-Ki, who's going to be running a really traditional Sabine Luke list here with a slight bit of modification as they have, instead of snipers, Sabs. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. Looks like Kingsley is finishing up, and then it'll be just Col-Ki dropping his in, and then we can get rolling. In the meantime, I'm going to likely sit here and talk to you all. I'll move my microphone real quick. There we go. This way it is in front of me, and you can properly hear. Ooh, that's a little loud. But still, there we go. Alright, so waiting for them to finish setting up, and we'll get rolling. Nope, sorry, we still have General Grievous, who I did not see over here because my screen did not capture him. But General Grievous is up next for Kingsley, and in the meantime, Cole is looking where to deploy either Luke or the Sabs once Kingsley says that he's content. So this is probably the 3rd or 4th game of advanced positions I've seen recently. It seems to be the current trend, I should say. Alright, so it looks like we're getting another SAB unit being placed here. So it looks as though there is a very large contingent here that's going to make a push for the center, as well as another contingent here who's going to probably wrap around the comms tower here to attempt to... pincer this one particular objective. The Naked Squad very likely is just going to go for this objective right here. They can secure it by themselves and not have to worry about much. And then if we look at Kingsley's side, if my cat would move, we're going to have pretty much everything here make a push or have a nice gun line for this objective here in the center. As the droids don't really want to move if they don't have to. They could sit here and fire all day and night at that center objective. We do see a plethora over here who also can wheel around this comms tower. You're going to see a nice little pincer move on both sides for this one. However, I think that the red side has the better side for a pincer on the center objective. However, there is an opportunity here for a lot of things to come around and push the flank over here of the rebels. There is quite a few units that can make that trip, and Grievous himself can also charge out here, go up and over some walls and things, and begin, you know, slaughtering the rebels wholesale. Alright. I have to do this with a cat in my lap. Not a big deal. I got this. Alright, so looks like we have seen Grievous go down. He's over here. And then it's looking like just Luke and the Sabs are left. And then we'll be underway. Alright, buddy. Yep. Have a giant Maine Coon sitting in my lap because he's needy. Alright, so the problem with that is we currently do not have the Republic, well, yeah, the Grand Republic Army in the mod yet. They should be done in another couple weeks, but that's why you're seeing so many CIS lists, but no GAR lists. It's not... Hi, thank you for purring right into the microphone. Not because we don't want to, it's because they're not fully in the mod yet. So, they should be out soon. Air quotes on that soon, by the way. Don't hold me to a specific date. Alright. Looks like he's finally content with where the Sabs are going. Looks like all of them are right here in the center, so it looks like they're going to really heavily contend this objective. And then we'll see Luke come down as well. Where he'll go, I don't know. Probably somewhere in this cluster. Personally, I think the droids are a very, very, very interesting army. Right out of the core set, they actually are pretty strong. You almost don't need much else other than what comes in the core. I personally am not going to be playing them very often, just because they're not my style. I would much prefer the clones or the Empire, but I certainly will play around with them whenever I get around to having them painted up, because they seem like they'll be entertaining and fun. I know a lot of people are claiming that they are the new it thing, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they go and what new stuff gets released with them. Alright, pushed my cat off me. I'm going to turn on the light in here because apparently it's 6:45. It's starting to get dark. My cat's name is Loki. Meow. Meow. I think that the Republic will be a very, very, very interesting counter to them, because a lot of people are probably sleeping on this or are not really actively talking about it, but fire support is going to be absolutely massive, because it is really devastating how many die you can throw at something with fire support. Sure, you're hurting yourself in terms of your activation pool, but man oh man, I think that it's going to be interesting to see how that all works when you start doing fire support. Captain Cook having to give people the bastardized English version of vibrating. Yes, it's called purring. He's a happy cat. Meow. Alright, so it looks as though both players are content and are happy. That said, it looks like they are both about ready to get going. We'll see some command cards get plopped down here momentarily. And then it is game on. Go ahead and get your predictions in now as to who you think is going to take this. I'd say at the initial layout, I don't know. I don't know droids enough to say. Kingsley certainly is a skilled player, but I don't know droids well enough to say if they have an edge or not. And I don't know Col-Ki very well, so I can't really say one way or the other. I suspect we're going to see Legacy probably be first. Oh no, Standing Orders versus Standing Orders. Well, that's unexpected. So, Kingsley rolls, and it seems as though he is going to keep the priority. That is exactly my thinking as well, Herbert. I believe that you're going to see Grievous come running out this way, come up to this wall, run up it, come back down, and do his one pip to just eliminate a giant chunk of people. So we're going to see pretty much every single droid in the entire list get issued an order. And it looks like that is indeed the case. Every single core unit has an order, which means that the pool are only the droidekas. Alright, so it looks as though activating one of the further back droid groups, Kingsley is just moving them all out, charging them over here to their objective. Might as well get them in position and get them behind this nice, well, not heavy, but light cover that will allow them to take advantage of just sitting here and firing at anything that decides to come around this bend. That is the rocket unit. The rocket unit has range 2 to 4, so at least they'll have some range to things as they're sitting back here. Likely have a little bit of, well, they might not even have be able to see anything on that center objective. So, alright, so it looks as though we're going to go with a trooper unit from Col-Ki. Drawing it from the bag, he is probably going to pick one of these center units, try and move it up and get some shots in before Kingsley even activates his main forces. They can be panicked, correct. They cannot be suppressed. And I do not know the answer to that one. We will find out. I do not believe they gain cover from suppression. Oh, and there you go. Storm already answered that for us. The answer is no, you do not gain cover from the suppression. So it does make it nice that the droids can never improve their cover more than they already have. Oh, so it looks like instead of moving things out, Col-Ki took the easy route, put it on the naked squad, and just had them stand by. Not too terrible. They're way out here. No one's going to be messing with them. They're pretty much ineffective until the end of the game anyway, when they just roll out and take this objective. Alright, so it looks like the droidekas are going to end up activating. They're going to slowly move forward and try and get range to some things. Looks like they do, in fact, have range to everything. Getting his stuff to be in heavy cover right out of the gate. Kingsley moving, of course, his other droideka out and up, so that way he has a nice, lovely advantage to be able to see things to shoot. We're likely going to see Kingsley take a shot from this range at more than likely one of the Sabs. Potentially start getting them out of the way early. Especially since he moved one of his droidekas right here so that he can have visibility. Everything's going to be heavy cover because this droideka can't see anything, but this one spoils it so that at least they'll have targets. Kingsley currently quickly measuring just distances for things to make sure that he's not putting himself in a very terrible position. And instead choosing to not go ahead with that placement. And yes, until the surge tokens get placed into the game, everyone seems to be agreeing to use the ion tokens as their method of determining surge. Alright, so looks like... Well, thank you very much for the thank you for the Prime subscription there, Herbert. I do not have my proper alerts set up. You guys actually caught me. I got this game late. Setting up a new... Ooh, the rollout is fantastic here. We see 4 hits right out of the gate. And just a simple block. The Droideka able to try and terrain snipe the Z6 and the medic, but unable to do anything. So as I was saying, you guys actually caught me in the middle of trying to update and do a new, what you want to call it, overlay and alert system. So there you go, you got to see it because I was unable to switch it back to the old alert system before I started streaming. But thank you very much, Herbert, for the Prime subscription. Much, much, much appreciated. I seem to be dropping a few frames, so I do apologize. That does happen. That's the cost of business. Oh, Wookiee screams of alert. No. Dear God, no. Oh my God. My ears would bleed. But enjoy your nice, new, lovely Clone Trooper helmet there. Alright, so rolling to ditch some suppression. We see the inability to remove them. That means that this unit is going to be activating with just a single action here instead of being able to do 2. I suspect that they're going to move up and probably be in contact with the building to try and remove their suppression as it is hostile environment, and thus they're unable to ditch suppression at the end of the turn unless they're touching terrain. So we're going to go ahead and see him move and see what he's going to do. Go to my Streamlabs, try and change my alerts back, but I don't know if I can. So your little sub-alert, or your sub-icon, you have a Clone Trooper helmet. My sub-icons are all Clone Trooper helmets that progressively get more and more prestigious, in air quotes. Random... Oh, there's no... They're Empire. Okay, I get it. That makes a little bit of sense. So, slightly adjusting this trooper leader, likely so that he's in contact with the sandbags. I think you'd be better off moving him up and touching this. But if he wants to move him back a little bit, then that is also acceptable. Alright, let's see if we can manage our themes here. I want to use these, and it isn't allowing me to. Oh no, it is. Okay, it is on that one. I seem to be missing the ones that I had. Oh well. That is perfectly acceptable. I'm going to be switching anyway, so whatever. If I lose one... If I lose one day's worth of sub-alerts and stuff, then so be it. Gone are the fancy ones, or with the handmade ones. Hello, the new fancy ones that are kind of cool. But I'll play with that later off air. So, it looks as though we are seeing the droids over here getting ready to move up. Cole just finishing a little bit of tweaks here and there to make sure his units are where he wants them. Looks like that is indeed where he wants them. And then Kingsley is going to go ahead and activate this droid right here. He already started once. Looks like he's going to double move. Potentially. Right up to the woods. taking advantage of the heavy cover here, preventing pretty much anything from rounding this bend, as he's going to have a nice, lovely group in place over here ready to fight. Now, which one is the heavy weapon? That is the question. I assume this guy right here with the red gun that's a little bigger than the rest. Yep, that is indeed him. As I hover over him, you see he has the E5, as opposed to everyone else just being the B1s. Man, this makes me want to go and play Battlefront 2 after this. Tempting, but probably don't have time. Because it'll be 9-ish, 10-ish when this is done, so. Alright, so, placing everybody in cohesion there. Looks like he's pretty much content. Alright, so Col-Ki is going to go ahead and move out his saboteurs. Looks like he's going to go ahead and likely move and then chuck a, what do you want to call it, a charge close to the objective. So throwing it there, he seems pretty content with its location. Can move probably a little closer if he wanted it to. But what he could do is continually throw charges here over and over and over and load it up so that come the last turn of the game, he can just detonate them all and get a bunch of charge explosions. What is my fiance texting me about? So it looks like Kingsley was just wrapping up a movement there. Col-Ki already ahead of him in terms of trying to get things underway. Alright. Oh, never mind, now I get it. Sorry. Dealing with the text. Alright. So, looks like General Grievous is indeed moving up on the charge. Looking to try and place some of these just out of range of both Luke and Sabine. That way he doesn't have to fight them when he doesn't want to. That said, I don't want to say this statistically, this is a commonality, but it is entirely possible for General Grievous to one-shot Luke Skywalker about a good 50% of the time if he plays his 1-pip while in combat with Luke Skywalker, while he'll also survive Luke's son of Skywalker most times. I think that's 2/3 of the time he will survive that. It's kind of crazy just how powerful you see Grievous being, especially if he's in combat with Luke Skywalker. I suspect that we're going to see Kingsley try and pull that off, because if he does, you're looking at a massive, massive amount of hits that are probably going to come at Luke. Alright, so General Grievous is done. Looks like we're going to see another activation over here from Col-Ki. Don't know what he wants to do yet. Looks like a little bit of debate as to what he wants to do. Probably going to pull from the stack, and he does. Ooh, and he draws Luke. That, I think, is not what he wanted. So what he could do, arguably, is get Luke into position so that he's able to do things next turn. I don't think you'd want to jump him out there this turn and get him lit up by everything under the sun. Sadly, without improvised orders, Luke is going to have his choice of how to make this happen. Very well can just move him pretty much against this wall and call it pretty happy there. That's exactly what he's doing, is moving Luke right up against that wall so that next turn he'll easily be in charge range if he wants to pull 1-pip or something else. Both command cards this turn were standing orders. So both players have access to their entire command deck currently. And yes, my mobile did purr. Text messages from my fiance. Do apologize. Alright, so Kingsley has his choice of everything to activate. Gonna take the droids that are behind the command tower, or the control tower, wheel them out so that they're in position to probably support Grievous come next turn for when Luke inevitably charges out. Looks like he is just setting them up with likely a single move as opposed to a double move. And there you have it. It looks like it is indeed a single move as he's now placing all his troopers right behind him. Gotta squeeze a couple more in there somehow. But he can easily do it, there's plenty of space. Kingsley being pretty effective with his movement. Putting a standby on these guys just in case something wants to roll around. He pretty much has this wall covered if Sabine wants to hop up and over. Alright, and it looks like one of the saboteurs got pulled from the stack. So you're going to see them also likely move up and throw another charge at this objective. You're not wrong, Hoff. TT's not currently part of the list that you see here. However, I think you're seeing TT slowly work their way off like everybody's must-take list and more onto the nice-to-have depending on the map that you're playing and everything else. No longer, I think, are people starting with TTs in their list. I think you're seeing two different archetypes. Either the Saboteur Sniper model or the TT model. One of those two. I'm not saying it's right or wrong that they're off people's must-take list. I'm just saying that you're seeing what I think are two different archetypes. Either the traditional commandos or the Tauntauns. One or the other. Hey Sploosh, how's it going? That said, tomorrow night I'm actually playing a interesting double dewback with Vader list against a single dewback with Palpatine list. So that will be a very interesting match that I'm playing tomorrow. Alright, so looks as though they're doing a little bit of a measurement just to see where things are, how they can wrap around. And with that, we're going to see the droidecas get moved out. Looks like they're going to just move straight ahead. Not have a shot at anybody where they're currently at. However, not really being threatened where they're positioned at. Very likely could put these guys on standby. And that way, if the Sabs want to roll around, they can get them. However, that does expose them in this area right here for the standard troopers to come out and fire at them. How do you meme cis on Twitch? I don't know, man. CIS is an interesting... Do I have any memes? I don't have any memes currently available to me. Sadly, no memes other than Roger and Chill. They're beautiful, beautiful, what you want to call it, thing. Their team logo, because it is hilarious. Alright, so it looks like these droidecas did move up indeed and took a standby. Again, there's this gap right here where you can get some Rebel troopers in range 3 and be able to fire at them. The band for range 2 kind of was like right here. So it looks like the green troopers are going to go ahead and activate. They'll probably start that pincer move around this way, likely try and take up some positions behind this barricade for the time being, and then slowly advance and maybe start working on some side shots in the droidecas and droids over here. So we'll see where Col-Ki wants to move them, if indeed he does choose to move the green troopers. Alright, so now you're going to see... Well, looks like he was asking what was left to activate. And it seems like this squad here and this squad here still have to activate. Well, these two squads here. So the troopers, not want to take any chances, going to stuff them behind the heavy cover over here. That way they're nice and safe. Alright, so just moving everything up, pointing out what's left to activate. Grievous 1-pip next turn is very, very possible because he could just move to this building, climb it, move up, and then fire off his 1-pip and hit this entire plethora of units here. So that is a very, very possible move. What's up, Sploosh? I don't think... well... No, not quite, Sploosh. If he has the 1-pip, what he would do is move up to the building. He gets his scale ability... What is it called? Scale. Which he gets a free clamber at the end or beginning of his turn, so that puts him on top of the building. Then, if he wanted to, he could move again and then move back down into combat with Luke if he wanted to. Because he can easily come over and down. Or hell, he can just move to the wall, scale up and down. So Luke. And then engage Luke with swings and then do his range 1 to everybody here. So plenty of options. So, if we see... I would say it's very, very likely that you're going to see Grievous's 1-pip. Just because they're all clustered currently. Even if he doesn't move to engage with Luke, I think he'll be in a very, very perfect spot to just damage the living daylights out of everybody. And Hofberger, you are about 5 minutes late. I discussed that a little bit earlier. Grievous has, what, about a 2/3 chance to live through Son of Skywalker, whereas Luke has a 50% chance to get defeated by General Grievous's 1-pip if General Grievous is in contact with Luke at any point in time. Exactly. I don't... Even if Grievous has to face tank Luke, it isn't even a big deal. I think you want to get Grievous into contact with Luke because dear God, the damage he can do is incredible. Alright, so couple standbys over here. Kind of lost track as to what's going on because I was reading my chat. Alright, so looks like we're going to see the Rebel Troopers over here activate. Ooh, are they going to swing out and around? Looks like the answer is yes. Possibly trying to... Well, even that's not going to get them enough distance to avoid the range 1, because in theory, Grievous could just move up on top of this wall right here. And, well, even if he moves over here, he has range 1 to everything over here. I think it's great, his positioning. Yeah, droids are definitely Kingsley's style, I'd say. I don't exactly have a firm way to defeat Grievous yet. Everything that I can come up with is pretty much chance. Because he is a 4-up save, 4-up red. No surges. Can give himself a surge, though. 8 hit points is a lot, though. Tauntauns can do it, you are correct. Just continually ram him. Also shoot at him on the way to catch him. Dewbacks would be nasty as well. Other than that, I mean, shoot the living daylights out of him. Yeah, you cannot move your troopers through the droidecas. I believe they do give light cover. Taking a dodge on them, that's kind of uncommon for Kingsley. Usually he double moves instead of moves and takes a dodge. Very rare that that actually happens. Alright, and drawing a trooper token. We still have purple left to activate over here. They will be facing likely this group with the rocket launcher over here that is yet to activate. That is the one major problem with the droids, is the cohesion and keeping that range to give everybody order tokens. Cohesion is going to be a huge problem just because of how many models you get. You can't stuff them all in there like you can with Rebels or Empire. Alright, so just slightly moving the purple troopers up a bit, taking a dodge. Looks as though we're going to see these droids over here who have yet to activate. Have no targets currently. They will have to move to fire at anything. Well, I guess arguably they can see these guys over here behind the heavy cover, but that is a very suboptimal shot. That said, it looks like Kingsley's trying to measure to make sure he's just out of range of these proton charges. Does look like he will be able to get range 3 if he wants to. I believe indeed, Thrawn, that they are competitive right out of the box. Clones, I'd say, are fun out of the box. I'm not sure they're competitive out of the box, but droids are very competitive right out of the box. It's not necessarily how easy the droids die, it's how many dice they can throw back at you. Even with it being a simple white only hit die, it's when you're throwing, what, 8 of them plus another 3 black, that is a lot of die coming your way. I didn't know that the Krennic Shores and Dewbacks were a good list. I thought Dewbacks worked great with Vader, because that way they ignore suppression. I have not really built a list around Krennic and Shores yet. I am a big fan of Lunta's triple-double. I think that that is a fantastic list. But Lunta's a crazy man and does crazy things. Alright, taking a name token on the droids here. Are they going to fire at somebody? They do have line of sight. They can see... The rocket launcher can see, like, this dude. It's not a useful shot. They can also see green over here. I don't know what they have range to, though. That is the problem. So I'm not sure why taking that aim was what Kingsley did, but it'll probably work out some way. Can he see that dude's base? It looks like the answer is yes. Yes, he can. That tree is annoyingly in the way, but yes, he can totally see this one saboteur's base. Instead, it looks like he's going after... He cannot see red. There's no way. Alright, it looks like he's going for the guy that he can see in the back there. Alright, heavy cover... Rocket launcher coming out. Ooh, he gets a crit and 2 hits. He does have an aim, though. Does not save it. So instead of taking the wow, that was a lot of crits. 3 crits. That's insane. 3 crits on the rollout at the lone trooper base here that he could see. Col-Ki, I think, just now remembering that he has stims that he'd rather put on them rather than dishing that or killing one off. Needing to definitely roll over here. And getting one... He split fire. Failing 2. Taking the death of the one model. Rather than putting 2 wounds on the stim card, it's probably better to just take the death of the one model. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and see... They're just going to check their range so that way they know for when the saboteur rolls around and throws a grenade where they're going to be at. So it's literally a line right here. So he can move this saboteur up, back against this wall here, chuck another bomb over here if he wants, or he can be a little more daring and put him like right at the edge and throw it somewhere over here. Thus he's forcing Kingsley to move into it. Sploosh getting teased because he doesn't split fire with Boba Fett because, well, let's be honest, when Boba Fett splits fire, it never works. So throwing a grenade or another charge out. Well, Sabine, in theory, could detonate their charges. Oh, hey. Sparty for you. I haven't seen you in a long time. How are you? Alright, so... looks like that Saboteur is done. Now we have Sabine coming up. She is likely going to have to run interference for Grievous. Sabine can detonate other charges when she pulls her 1-pip. She then gains the ability for the rest of the game to do detonate. And that means she can do any token. She can't? I thought it could be anyone. Any charge. Oh, does it specifically call out thermal charge? Okay. I didn't know it specifically called out thermal charge. Yeah, because this is detonate proton charge. Well, that changes things then. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't realize hers was specific, but it does make sense. It would make sense that everyone can only detonate their own. However, any SAB can detonate any other SAB's charges of their own team. That is the way around that, provided there's still a SAB left to detonate charges. Yep, I heard that Zerov's moving to DC. I've been talking with him. Yeah, you'll have to chat at me sometime, Sparty. Need to figure out what games we're playing. I'm likely going to get, and this is going to be blasphemy, very likely going to get WoW Classic. Likely going to get the new Call of Duty, but I'll do that on PlayStation. You and I are predominantly PlayStation from what I see nowadays. Han should be able to detonate all charges. And have Entourage Tauntaun? I could see that. Alright, so double checking all those ranges again, just to make sure that they know where they're going. Yeah, Sparty, basically my fiance took over my my Xbox and it's now hers. So she basically gets to do whatever she wants on it and I get the PlayStation. So it works out. You would need a new card for that, Herbert. You'd have to call it Lukewarm. You basically kill off a Tauntaun and it removes all suppression in hostile environment. I think that'd be a great card. Alright, so it looks at the end of that turn. This is where we're going to end up. Giant gun line over here with all droids. A bunch of suppression on some Rebel troopers here. Or the SABs, effectively. Sabine out here in heavy cover by her lonesome. And this turn, I think the consensus is right. I think we're going to see Grievous's 1-pip this turn. Maybe Son of Skywalker as well. And yeah, I'm here all night with the dad jokes. Let me tell you. Lukewarm, I've been using that one forever, though. That's kind of like getting old. I need to come up with new stuff. Alright, so an aim... What the hell's the aim for? I'm not sure. Oh, that's going to be a surge. Alright, so that works. Red aims are surges. I know that Grievous can totally get... You mean get him as in kill him, or get him as in get within range of him? Because Grievous can easily move his 2... roughly here, where my pointer is, scale up, and he can move his other 2 to here, scale down, be in contact with Luke, then melee, and then do his 1-pip, hitting literally everything here. And then just face tank Son of Skywalker. That is an option. Oh shit, so he did play him. I apologize. So we have Sabine's explosions versus assault. Interesting. That is not what I would have expected. So we see, instead of going for the loot kill, it seems as though Kingsley's going more for the protective avenue from Sabine, which is likely the safer bet, because right now I can see Sabine flying over here-ish, dropping a charge right here in the center of everybody, taking out a lot of things here, and then floating away, possibly behind the wall with her speed 1. She can't. She can float into this tower. She can float back into here. She's got options. She's got options. But I think this giant cluster here is going to be her her prime target. Kingsley popping his HQ uplinks to get tokens out on the rocket guys. All the surge tokens being passed out. Thrawn already finished his RPQ, actually. I believe he came in 3rd place? Alright, Sabine dropping right there. Looks like she will throw her charge right here in the middle of this cluster and then retreat back into the woods. Yeah, Sploosh, she kind of failed everybody. I mean, I could argue worse, though. I should have went on to play the, what you want to call it in my RPQ, the cut, but I was too nice of a guy. You tabled 2, but you didn't table the 3rd where it mattered. Alright, Sabine hopping back into the woods here, getting her heavy cover. Gonna set off a bunch of charges, blow up a bunch of stuff. Alright, first explosion, 1 hit. Dead droid. Second explosion, 1 hit. And another dead droid. 2 suppression though on this group, so they have a chance of panicking, depending on the range to Grievous. I think they're probably okay. Another explosion. 2 hits this time. Is he going to take the shields for that? I believe the answer is yes. Alright, second explosion on him. Oh, wow, 2 crits. Taking off the other 2 shields on the droidecas over here. So they are fully exposed. Droids back here. 2 more hits. Ooh, saved 1, didn't save another. Another dead droid. Second explosion, 1 hit. Zero. Alright, next one is a single hit. And then another single hit. So dropping the droideca shields down. And then the final group here. 2 hits. 2 dead droids. And then finally One more hit on the droids. And another dead droid. So, all in all, you see 6 wounds on the droidecas, wounds in air quotes, and then another 4 troopers. So not too terrible. Still a lot of suppression over here. That is pretty deadly. Alright, so there's a lot of chat going back and forth depending on the things. Hoff saying that he's not a fan of the barrage abilities because it requires 2 actions. You're not wrong on that. It seems cool, but there has to be a lot of setup and perfect timing for it to be worthwhile. Comments saying that the tank is probably going to be pretty good. Pretty good. I'll say that. Alright, so all of those explosions done. Now it's off to Kingsley to figure out what to do next. That's an odd experience there, Hubert. I've murder-faced Sabine many, many, many times. You just gotta put a lot of fire into her. Death Troopers do it very well. Bosk does it very well. The tank will struggle alone against the Tauntauns. However, the tank with fire support would be pretty good against them, but it kind of is like a Alpha Strike where you're very exposed after you eliminate it. So, not exactly the best option. Oh, you can't support the tank. Ooh, well therein lies the problem. Alright, checking the ranges for all these things. The droid Deca here, looking like he's going to take an aim and a fire. He does have the very edge corner of that base. Both models can see. With an aim, firing into heavy, he does look like he gets two crits in and a hit. The hit's going to be ignored. 2 saves. Ooh, didn't make them. So Red Squad over here is going to need to... Yeah, he's going to take the single wound as opposed to the double wound. And then that's going to be a dead Sab. And the question is, do Rolly Boys care at all about suppression? They do not. Because they're technically vehicles. Alright, so up next is a Sab. Alright, and so the Sabs, not a lot of good options. Not a lot of good options at all without rolling out and throwing a charge right in their face and suffering the consequences thereof. You could suicide them, but that's going to be a lot of shots coming in on them. Not exactly the best thing. Dooku looks like a blast on paper. Still debating how to run this. I think... Get some here. I think it might not be terrible to suicide run out a Saboteur, throw a charge in the middle of them and blow them all up. However, that's very risky and not very great. Alright. Still a little debate as to how to handle this. Those charges are effectively useless for now. Double checking ranges for all the charges here to determine what to do. Looks like they're just going to edge out oh so slightly. Likely throw another charge. Just keep piling up the explosions or explosives on the objective here. And that is it. That is one dead trooper. Or not trooper, but commando from these stims bleeding onto him. I think it would have been probably a terrible idea, but run them out, throw a charge somewhere over here, and try and just detonate it and see as many you can take out. Yep, effectively, these charges are, there's too many of them to really detonate going forward. Not only that, but yeah, you're right. Grievous is just going to come up here and just eliminate all the saboteurs. It looks like Kingsley's getting ready to activate a trooper unit. Alright, gonna go ahead and activate the rocket guys over here. They have an ability to panic. I don't know if they're within range of Grievous. They are in plenty of range of Grievous. So not worried about panicking. He must have other plans for Sabine. Yeah, looks like he's going to split fire again at the Sab. I don't know why he, like you said, I don't know why, unless he's thinking Grievous is going to do something else. Or typical Kingsley, playing super conservatively and just making sure things die rather than hoping for the best. So 4 hits, so it's going to be 2 saves on that Saboteur. Saves 1, loses 1. Dead Saboteur squad. Alright, and it looks like Luke was pulled. Probably a lot sooner than what he would have liked. Probably significantly sooner than he would have liked. Because Luke, really not going to do a whole heck of a lot where he currently sits. Engaging with General Grievous right this moment is probably a terrible idea. What he could do he might be able to move and push the droids over here close enough to him that he can then charge them. And then that way he'll be surrounded by those droids, and those Grievous can't arguably get to him until the droids retreat. That is a possibility. But they do activate later this turn, so they'd be able to... So, yeah. Without them having activated yet, it'd be terrible for Luke to try and pull them in, because they just move back. So, it wouldn't even be a thing. So, dodge and standby this turn. Not fantastic, but not terrible. Alright, and that's Luke's turn. Very much cowering in fear here. I do not know. You only get a single action, right? I'm not the one to ask that question. I do not know. Alright, so Droid Deck is going to open up at Sabine over here in heavy cover. Wow. Just wow. Alright, so 3 saves on Sabine, making all 3 of them. However, Droideka is rolling out fantastic. Alright, so it looks as though it's going to be Col-Ki's turn here. Having Sabine just block all those shots is pretty fantastic. However, taking a bunch of suppression, not fantastic. Alright, looks like he drew a trooper token. Looks like green's going to activate over here. Hopping up and over these barricades. Where are they going to go? They do have range to the droids. Looks like the answer is they cannot get within range of the Droideka, who is probably a better choice, I suspect. Take it easy. Thanks for coming out, and I think you're not necessarily wrong. Alright. Looking like he's going to Z6 the droid squad over there. Looking for some hits here into light cover. Gets a whole 2 hits. Thank you, Storm. Surge ends up saving the droids. Not a single wound taken there. Rebels are indeed doing rebel things. Alright, so back to Kingsley. Looks as though he has the option with his troops there. His entire troop set over here. I think these guys, you just... Who is... Oh, okay, he has this squad here. I think you just fire at Sabine. Aim fire at Sabine. I mean, Sabine's kind of done her thing with the explosions at the moment. Oof. 1 hit. Alright, yep, and in heavy cover, those 2 hits don't matter. So, just 1. Sabine eats it, takes a wound. And so the wound train begins on Sabine. However, more importantly, the suppression train as well. Alright, so it looks like the Sab here, gonna get his activation. He does have 2 suppression, I believe. That he's gonna have to roll off. Unless that suppression was for a different trooper. Alright, just making sure they're playing fair. No, so he only gets a singular action. So, he can't place that charge out there like he wanted to. Alright. So, sadly, unable to drop that. Saboteurs can be good if played in the right hands, but they are a very, very difficult unit to wrap your head around and make good. It's not something that you can just pick up and be great at like snipers. Snipers are like a no-brainer unit. Sabs are very much have to think outside the box. Alright, so looks like Kingsley's going to go ahead and activate likely another droid group over here. They're going to go ahead and move up. Just so they can get within range of Sabine, and then there's going to be a Congo line of death to fire at Sabine. We'll see how he places all these troops. He might have to forward cohere a little bit to make it work. There you go. Everyone should be able to see her. They all do. Nice, lovely shot at Sabine. With pretty much everybody firing at her. It's gonna be a lot of dice. Needing crits. Getting 1 crit. So at least she's getting another suppression, and a save is made. She is good to go, taking only a suppression here, up to 4. Alright, drawing another trooper token here. We've got the purple troopers back here who haven't done anything. We've got the yellow troopers over here who haven't done anything yet either. They're going to take another standby and dodge. Effectively not doing anything for 2 turns in a row now. That should be turn 2, by the way. Alright, so aiming and firing all these guys at Sabine. Again, heavy cover, doesn't care. Rolling 4 crits, absolutely insane. I cannot believe he just rolled 4 crits, but that is the dice roller in this game. Likely going to burn the personal shield. To automatically get a block. And that's not after you roll, that is... Or not using the shield, rather. Maybe? I don't know what the debate is. Shield just gives you a free block. It isn't a dodge or anything. You're not avoiding anything. It's just you are guaranteed a block result. So she takes 1 wound. So effectively what it's doing, instead of like throwing another die on here, they're just saying, okay, 1 die is a guaranteed block. Since there is no pierce, it doesn't matter. So they're only rolling 3 instead. But that's another wound and another suppression on Sabine. Starting to get a little bit in trouble there. Purple squad over here. Rebels yet to really engage anything. Alright, instead going with the gray troopers. No. Jumping all over the place. Brown troopers? Brown troopers. Looks like going with the brown troopers. Not sure what they're going to do yet. Looks like the answer is try and rally first. They do manage to rally, so they're going to go ahead and get 2 actions out of this. They have a untouched medic who can be used to bring back one of the saboteurs this round, if any of them died this round. I don't think they did. They can move forward and shoot at the droidecas, because the droidecas have no shields right now. So you could potentially do some pretty heavy damage to that unit. Not very efficient moving of these models, and definitely not efficient cohesion. What he needs to do is pretty much Congo line him like this, put the medic over here where he's out of the way. Just make sure you can see the droidecas, which in all honesty can actually put some like over here and still see this one guy's arm and still have it count. So this guy is in a position where he can't see. I would just slightly shift him over and he would be able to. If you just shift everybody over, you should be okay. He is not doing it though. He's electing to keep him behind cover. I think that's silly. I say you just bring him out there and just deal with it. Yep. That's about as good as you're going to get. Alright. And going to go ahead with the shot at the shieldless droidecas. They have a lovely white save as well. But it does surge to defend at least. So it is a 5-up as opposed to a 6-up. And we're going to see Z6 fire over here. Looking for anything. And he gets 3 hits. Getting a block result. Oh, did he shoot at the ones that do have shields? Unless they're saying they're in heavy cover. Oh yeah, they would be heavy cover because he's shooting through this little bit of terrain. So yep, the one hit was all that came through. Did a whole lot of not much. Sorry, I misread that. Alright, so droids moving up. Gotta be slightly back from Grievous, apparently. Everyone has range to Sabine, so they're gonna light Sabine up yet again. Trying to avoid putting his troops closer to Luke. I understand it, but depending on what you want to do against Sabine, you might not have a choice. A little bit of forward cohering. Alright, so looking to take a shot at Sabine with all those troopers. Let's see what he gets. Effectively a Z6 shot is what he's doing. And he gets another 2 crits. Massive, massive, massive. Just continually rolling crits over on the blue tray. Sabine taking another wound. She's now up to 3 wounds and 6 suppression. So, does she have stims? She does not. So she is very close to death. She has 2 hit points left, and she will have to contend with potentially panicking next turn, depending on what card she has available to her. This would not be a terrible time to pop the symbol of the rebellion if she has it. Throw it right here in the terrain piece, giving her that boost, clearing her suppression, as well as then putting suppression on pretty much everything out here. Alright, so what is up next for Kingsley? Oh, sorry. Col-Ki gets his next activation, and it is troopers. He can activate the gray troopers over here or the purple troopers over here. It might not be terrible to wrap them around and fire at any of this nightmare out here. Alright, so looking to put himself in the sandbags over here and start lining up some shots. In all honesty, put it on Grievous. Well, maybe not. Maybe he's going to take the shot at this gray squad right here. I don't know what the best choice is. I'd be a little more afraid of Grievous than I would be the troops, and Grievous doesn't have the best saves and the best ability to block just tons of shots coming in at him. And eliminating Grievous is pretty huge, so I would honestly shoot at Grievous. Probably not the best of ideas, but that's just me. Why am I dropping frames? Yeah, show that. There's my performance metrics. There we go. Alright. So, looks like they're going to move. They're pretty content where they're at. Bloop. There's my my metrics real quick. We'll leave that on screen for a minute. Alright, so taking shots over there. Alright, firing at him. Woof! Getting 2 crits, 2 hits. So 4 hits. That is 3 dead droids. but again, not a large dent. I think that again, my personal opinion, I would have shot at Grievous, but not necessarily the right choice. Move my metrics out of the way so I can see my metrics. You all don't care about my metrics. I do. At least I'm getting a consistent bit rate, like huge bit rate. I don't know why I popped all that up. Anyway. Looks like it is Grievous' turn. He's going to go ahead and likely move into position for next turn's 1 pip. Is a truck backing up? I don't know. Anyway. Grievous moving against the wall. He's going to scale up it using scale. And then he is going to then... I don't know. You can move in contact with Luke if you cared. They're going to try and detonate that one explosive. But if they do, it's going to clip a bunch of rebels. And then he's going to scale down into combat there with all those rebels. I believe that won't activate Luke, because Luke probably can't see him, to be honest with you. I think the answer is no, he can't see him. So that does not trick Luke. Let me get... Oh god, it's so painful. I would say no. Luke cannot see Grievous. And there, you can just cheat Grievous that way. So slicing and dicing that one guy, getting 3 crits once again, killing off the Saboteur. Planking out on the saves. Another Saboteur squad dead. Unable to really cope with the damage. And then over yonder, looks like he's going to shoot his blaster at the other Saboteur. And he does not do very well. He gets a hit. It does have Pierce 1. So that is a guaranteed wound, and going to go ahead and plop it onto the E-stims over there. Alright. What is left to activate? Just the purple squad over here. Saboteur, it would be this guy. He does not ditch his suppression. Unsure of what he's going to do with the Saboteur. There's really not much options here as he's kind of trapped. You can roll him out this way, but that's not going to get him anywhere to throw a charge anywhere useful. You can just roll him out to fire. That is an option. It's not great, but it's an option. Because from here, he might be able to put a charge here. He might have range. There you go. Start to get a little bit more on the curve there. You might be able to get something. Move the mines and auto-destruct. Yeah, I mean, I just roll them out here and throw a charge. There you go. See, he's going to get all these troops. All of them with a singular charge. Depending on where he puts it. I'd probably put it over here. Right here. And try and get these guys. More than these guys. Yep, so far right about here is where you'd want it. And just out of range there. Easily has it to that guy. Does not have it to that guy. I think that's probably a safe one. Because that way Sabine's out of it. You can hit both Droidekas. You can hit that guy. You're ignoring these guys, but that's fine. Alright, so exploding against... Wait a minute. Oh, wow. Yeah, it is. So I think it's against himself that he just rolled. He probably killed himself. Explosion against the Droideka. 2 crits. 2 wounds on the Droideka. A singular, or no. Yes, 1 wound against the other Droideka, burning a shield. And then the other guy gets 2 hits. Droid squad ends up taking 2 wounds from that charge. I think that's what he needed to do earlier, was just start throwing more and more people out this way to try and blow up. I know it's suicidal, but that probably was the best move he could have made. He probably should have done that earlier with more of them. Just run them out here and throw charges at the squad and let them die. I know it's terrible, but that's probably his only use of them. Because otherwise he only ever got a singular charge off to do anything with. Alright, so it looks as though these B1s are going to go ahead and move up. Jump up and over the sandbags. And be within range of the Z6 squad over here. Yeah, I think the suicidal charge was probably the best use of them. Being stuck back here and just getting shot up and dying was of no use. Every single activation I would have rolled them out and thrown them against this cluster here and see what happens. I mean, why not? Alright, so firing away, they get a whopping 3 hits, only 1 after suppression and cover, and they still get a kill. It's gonna be a wound. So they didn't have any suppression, they were just firing through this heavy cover. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that... I hate to say it, but that was the missed opportunity there, was rolling out the saboteurs and throwing the grenades out into this cluster and hoping for the best, or charges, rather. Suicidal, yes, but still a good option. Alright, so Purple Squad's going to go ahead and roll out. Their biggest problem is going to be cutting this corner. They'll likely only make it to about here, which I don't think gives them range to anything. Well, they currently have range 4, so they might... No, because they're only going to go up here, and they're still going to be range 4. So nope, they will not get much further than that. So they're going to double move and set up shop kind of over here as well. And yeah, they're going to set up shop basically behind here with the attempt to get range to anything that's going to come in contact with the objective woods. Alright, content with that. I believe that is all the activations on Kingsley's side of the board. And I believe that is also all the activations on Col-Ki's side of the board. So now they're just collecting suppression. Probably debating how that's supposed to be laid out. I think you should clear suppression there, and you should clear the suppression over here. And that looks to be correct. Alright, so turn 3. Oof, looking like they're debating some things over here. Sabine looks like she's okay because she's within range of Luke. So I think she's okay. Plus she's only at 4 suppression now, so she'll get a singular action. I think it's going to be, depending on what card you play, you need to get her down underneath that 4. You need to get her down to 1. If you can get her to 1, you can recover fire all day long and be content where you're at. And there's the 1 pip for both. Alright, so it looks as though Luke gets to go first. All right. So it looks like all the tokens of the sun are being dished out to the different troopers over here. Once again, all the troopers are being activated, are getting tokens due to their proximity to Grievous. And then the daisy chain effect outward from it. Alright, so can Luke get in there and beat down Grievous? I think arguably this is done wrong. The Rebel Troopers should have rolled around Grievous, thus protecting him from Luke. But that's neither here nor there. And then Surge is all over the place. Well, do or die time. I think you, I think you run in at Grievous and start swinging for the fences. Yeah, there's room for him to fit. Depends how they want to call it. Kingsley's being a nice guy and letting him have it. And with that, he's getting 4 hits in. He can reroll those 2 if he wants. I say you keep it. And Impervious. Rolling out. Looks like he is taking... what is the AP on Luke? Pierce 2. So he's taking a couple wounds there. 3 wounds so far on Grievous. Rolling again. Now you definitely need to use that aim now. Alright, so 4 more saves. Same exact roll. Woof. Same result. So Grievous on 6 wounds after that. However, we're about to see if Grievous can one-shot Luke. I think it is doable. Grievous taking some massive damage there. Absolutely huge. Man, if he had only gotten 1 or 2 more hits, that could have been a dead Grievous. But again, like I said, Grievous survives this 2/3 of the time. Now we're going to see a 50-50 shot if Luke eats it. Alright. Swinging at Luke with 2 lightsabers, I suspect. So you're going to see a giant bucket of die. Oh my god, disgusting. So, 6 on Luke. Immune to Pierce. Oh my god, failing 4 of them, taking 4 wounds on Luke. Does have Pierce, but that's irrelevant. Jedi Hunter surges to crit, which is irrelevant in this case. And now his lightsaber smash. Getting 2 more hits. And I suspect that's Luke. Oh, and Luke now take on 5 out of the 6. And there you have it. He could have one-shotted him. Just shy of one-shotting him. And now the other guys, 2 hits. If he wants to spin that, I believe he surges to hit. Does not surge to hit. Saving that that surge token apparently. Taking a wound. And there you have it. Neither one was the winner of that one. I suspect, I guess Luke technically came out ahead. Because Luke did 6 wounds, he took 5 wounds. However, Luke, I mean, very close to being one-shotted. Also very close to one-shotting Grievous, though. I think that Impervious saved Grievous's bacon a little bit. Oh, for sure, Hubert. It would have been great to see the Saboteurs just be cut down by Grievous in that crazy bubble of his. Alright, so now Rebel Troopers. These guys over here, looks like they're just going to aim and fire. Likely again at this gray set of troopers here. Don't split fire. Don't split fire. Whatever you do. Dodge. Okay. Getting in a singular crit. Ooh, and probably 2 hits there. Ooh, and taking out 3 of the troopers. I think you should have taken a name. However, down to just their heavy weapon and the commander left, I still think that they should have taken the aim, because that could have been the whole squad, but nope. Alrighty. Kingsley over here debating what to activate. Looks like he's going to try and activate the Droidecas. Probably to fire at Sabine again. Try and load her up with suppression. No, instead he's moving. Taking away her cover. But also moving so that he... Okay, I'm not sure how it's possible. I guess he used his disengage to not be in combat with them? I don't know if I get that. But it's Kingsley, he knows what he's doing, we'll let him do it. And with the fire, getting in 2 wounds. Pulling troopers. Oof. Getting rid of a singular suppression over here. The droid healing off one of the wounds on Luke. Good call. And then it looks like firing at the Droidecas. Looking for crits. Oh my god, he gets 3 crits. Two wounds. Blocking both of them. Droidecas unfazed. Really good roll. However, Kingsley said nope. Alright, so droids over here recovering and firing. At Sabine. Getting in 1 hit, or 1 crit. Could surge one of those to a hit, but it'd be irrelevant because she is in heavy cover. So a singular hit. And puts another wound on her. Sabine down to 1 wound left. And back up to 5 suppression this time. She is in panic territory. Alright, drawing another trooper group. Get your choice of green or purple over here. You could light into the droids if you wanted. The droidecas. If you wanted to hold your position. They do have the droidecas. They have no shielding. You could aim and fire, if you so choose. However, Sabine you need to get over there to heal Sabine, otherwise she's going to eat it. And that medic's going to go to waste. Purple, however, you could totally aim and fire. Alright, instead he chooses a dodge, instead to rely on the variance of the Z6. And that is indeed the medic squad that he's firing with. He gets a crit and 2 hits. 2 hits are ignored. Just the crit goes through. And that looks like it is a destroyed Droideca. 1 down, 1 left. Alright, and then the next squad, aiming and firing at Sabine. Whoop, a little bit of lag there. And getting one crit so far. And then getting a second crit. So 2 on Sabine. And kills her. Unable to block that final shot, Sabine takes the 5th wound, and Sabine is down for the count. Sabine really ineffective this game, as she didn't even activate this turn. And there's Sabine's token off the board. Sadly, not much use. I'm going to quickly pull open... Oh, it's not going to tell me anything. Never mind. Not going to bother. Alright, so purple squad over here. They could fire at the Droideka. Aim and fire. Or dodge and fire. That is apparently an option. There we go. Taking a name this time. Firing at the Droideka, I assume. Ooh, getting 3 crits, which is a thing of beauty. Oh my god! 5 crits. Holy cow. Oh! Alright, can this Droideka save enough? No, he cannot. That is a destroyed Droideka group. So, that is Kingsley's first squad loss. However, in the meantime, he's done quite a bit of damage. So trading those 2 Droidekas, not exactly a terrible, terrible thing at all. They seem to do quite well as is. Alright, so Group 7, recovering and firing. Likely at these troopers over here again. And it looks like we're going to see 1 crit go through. Oof, and fails it, killing 1 off. Alright. Last but not least, Yellow Squad. Looks like they're going to take another dodge and standby. They're still effectively out of this game. Alright, and it looks like the Droidekas over here, or not Droidekas, the B1 droids are going to fire at the squad, which is just, well, it's going to be heavy because of the suppression. No need to recover, though. And it looks like 1 crit coming through so far, re-rolling these 2. Getting just 1 hit in. And fails that again. So, down to just the squad leader and the Z6. This troop is getting pretty much faced at the moment. What is even left at this point? So, the squad of the dude and the heavy weapon over here. They're going to aim and fire at the squad down here as well. Looking for those crits. And there's 1 crit. And he blocks it. That was a little premature, but it doesn't matter. Oh, he's making him re-roll it. Yep, and there you go. There goes the Z6. Yeah, that was a little premature on the roll. Because Kingsley was definitely going to use an aim. And last but not least, this weakened squad of troopers here, they can fire at this squad up here if they want. Because they can only see the trooper leader, which would then kill the Z6. But looks like they're moving to get in contact with the terrain. And then they're going to likely fire at either green or purple over here. Probably leaving Grievous to mop up this mess over here. Just clicking my way through Discord real quick, making sure that I have everything cleared, because I hate when there's notifications up. And it's all stuff that is cool, but not important. Mark red. Mark is red. Alright, so firing the squad into the trooper leader. Looks like everybody can see somebody. So there's going to be that whole squad. Getting a crit in, 2 crits in. So it's going to be 2 saves on the rebels over there. Oof, blocking both. The rebels supporting Luke are not having any problems. Not this round. They took another suppression, however. And I believe that is the end of round 3. So on to round 4. Oh no, droidekas still have yet to go. I forgot about these droidekas. I'm used to the fact that everything already went. So, I take that back. These droidekas, they can fire at this squad here if they so choose. They can see the 1 unit leader, and then the heavy weapon over here. Looks like they're just going to move up. Not quite where they need to be, but good enough. And then they're going to fire at the squad over here. Everyone can see somebody. And rolling out 4 hits. I believe they have them in the open, so it's just going to be... Oh, apparently they say no. Oof, 2 wounds suffered. Yeah, that would be heavy cover. So just the squad leader left. The medic burned with 1 charge. And then 6 suppression on that one guy. And I believe that becomes the end of the round. Alright, so we see Forces of the Ally versus Ambush. So we're going to see Grievous go first. That's what I kind of suspected was going to happen. Luke over here getting a dodge. And likely taking the Trooper token himself in case he somehow manages to survive. Is he not issuing another token now? He needs to issue another token out. There he goes. Alright, so it is indeed up to turn 4. Is that correct? Yes, it is turn 4. Alright, looking like they're measuring all the different orders, how it's all going to go out. Yes, they are indeed within chain range. Are they going to be close enough? I believe the answer is yes, they are. So everyone, once again, gets the turn tokens. Making sure he remembers to regen his shields. Looks like he did. So, not Vader, Grievous attacking Luke. Jedi Hunter is going to be absolutely horrendous. Preferring more surges. And there you go, 3 crits. Plus the hit. Woof. So, looking at a total of 7 saves. Can only dodge away 1 down to 6. So he's going to dodge 1, take 6, needs to save 4 of these. And he does exactly that. He saves 4, I think he needed to save 5 though. Yeah, because Luke was at 4 wounds. So he's going to go up to 6. That puts Luke at E-stims. So he will at least get his attack in. But then he's going to go the way of the dodo. That said, he could trade his death for Grievous's death. And that might be pretty impressive. A fair trade, I might say. Alright, so trying to roll the suppression off of these guys. He is able to manage to do exactly that. Alright, so 1 shot going out. Does land a hit. And he fails it, so that's going to be the heavy weapon down from those droids. Wrapping around that corner. I don't think that's a legal move, but whatever. If Kingsley doesn't call me on it, that's not my concern. Preserving that single unit leader. Lots of yikes. Looks as though things are wrapping up pretty interestingly. Alright, checking range. They do have range to green. Likely gonna move and then fire. Looks like they're setting themselves up to probably fire at the little commander here. Or potentially get in shots over this way. My loud keyboard. Looks like he's going to go ahead and fire at the purple unit, the one without the medic. Alright, Kingsley's going to fire. Just a mini little shot. Gets in one hit, that's not enough, it's going to be just a suppression. His dice finally cooling off a bit. Alright, drawing a trooper token over here. Very well could be green returning fire. The droidecas are back up at 3 shields, so it's almost like they have a full model left available. I think you go with green or purple, probably purple, and you fire at these droids here and try and eliminate them. They're in heavy, but it's something. Aim and fire. Do so with purple. You could shoot the droidecas. They are heavy. That's light, but that's range 4. So, not a possibility from purple to hit them. I think you go after these droids. They're weak. Try and take them off. Instead, he's going to move. Potentially trying to get shots at these guys over here. I think an aim and fire was probably the better choice. I really do. Aim and fire at these 4. Try and whittle down that activation. Instead, you're splitting fire. Alright, so looks like that's what they're going to do. They're going to range 1 on them. Oh, and to answer your question, Hubert, Luke was at 4 wounds pre-attack. However long ago you asked that question. I don't think you can place all these troopers there. There you go. No, he's at, he saved 4, took 2, that put him at 6, had to put wounds on stims. So he has 1 wound currently residing on stim, even though it isn't showing. So I think that 5 is incorrect. Oh, he did save 5. Did I miss one? I must have missed it. Oh yeah, you're right. He spent the dodge. You are correct. To do the deflect. I must have missed that because it was happening so quick. So then yes, he is still alive. So Luke does have a chance to kill off Grievous by that, holy hell. Yeah, the problem is without me, you know, being in their game, it's tough to hear them say stuff like that, but I would imagine that's exactly what you got it. I must have missed that. Thank you for catching me on that one. Yeah, so Luke is still very much alive then. He's blown all his good tricks, but... Alright, Droidek is firing at the squad there. Getting 1 crit, 3 hits, so 1 of those will go through, so it should be 2 hits at the squad. Blanking on the saving throw. That's going to be 2 people from the green troop eliminated, as they have yet to activate. Thank you, Hubert, for catching that. Also, sorry it's 3 AM over there. That's crazy. 3 AM. You've got to be in, like, Central Europe, then. Alright, trying to roll off some suppression. Manages to roll all of it off. These guys, the green troop, don't care. They're gonna likely heal back one of their troopers and fire, I'd suspect. Looks like they're going after this unit because it is not activated yet. And it's down to 3 people after that earlier shot. Yeah, that will do it. Germany being 6-ish hours ahead. No, more than 6. 7 hours ahead. No, 6 hours ahead. It's almost 3 a.m. And there you go, healing back one of the rebel troopers. That way it increases his die pool, as he's likely going to fire at these guys. Try and eliminate one of them. I would... If I had the opportunity, I would move and live in Munich if I could. I was there last summer, and I absolutely loved it there. Also in Berlin, but I think I liked Munich better than I liked Berlin. But again, that's just seeing the major cities. It's not like seeing anything else. 4 hits going into light cover, so that goes down to 3. That could wipe the squad. Ooh, he does have a name. So 1 more coming through, so it's going to be 4 hits coming through. And that is that squad. He eliminated that droid squad. Now, Munich can be as expensive as it wants. It's not as expensive as the DC, Baltimore area. So I'm pretty sure I'd be able to be okay, because that's where I live, is that Nova, Maryland area where it's not cheap. Well, actually, I live in the city of Baltimore itself, so not cheap, to say the least. Alright, this group of droids activating. Nope. On second thought, looks like it's going to be these droids. Likely going to move up to try and get range to, I suspect, green or purple, and start hammering them. Well, if Kingsley wanted to, he can see and attempt to eliminate that trooper leader. But I think that he's pretty much inconsequential. At this point, you fire at the green or purple over here. Who are in heavy cover, but still, do it to it, hope you get those crits. Woof. 1 going through and eliminating a singular model. Out of curiosity, let me check something. So, rolling away the suppression on that 1 unit leader manages to get rid of 2. So he has 4. Being close enough to Luke, he still gets a singular action because that should be good enough. He's going to basically push himself against the wall so that he can recover away that suppression. You say people joke about the rent being expensive. They put a tent on their balcony for $600 a month. That's €600 or $600. Either which way, I'm paying roughly €1,900 for mortgage right now. So, at least I own the place. Double moving up and getting in contact with the center objective. Luke swinging for the fences here. Does get 2 crits. Alright, so you're seeing 3 wounds go on Grievous. Grievous needs to save a lot. Woof! Grievous is dead. That happened so quick. So, rolling 5 hits with that. Grievous gets 5 saves plus 2 for his... Wait, that is correct, right? Yeah, 5 and then 2 because of his Impervious, because Luke has Pierce 2. Rolls, fails a bunch. So of these saves, those 2 are just deleted, so he takes 4 wounds out of that Nightmare. That is twice as many as Grievous needed to die. So Grievous eliminated, where Luke is still on the board, surprisingly. However, this is a lot of stuff that Luke has to kill. There's a lot of things left that need to die in 2 turns. So it looks like these droids making an interesting move. These droids over here making a move as well. They're double moving once again to get in contact with this. At that point, that means that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different squads in the center objective. And unless these squads start taking down, this squad really needs to get in the action. They need to move up and start firing. That is 4 dice that could be used every single turn that is not being used right now. And that could be 4, potential battle droids destroyed. That can be huge. So, Luke needs to kill a bunch in 2 turns. He has 2 turns to kill a bunch of things. And that looks like it for this turn. At this point, I say you save these 2 troopers as long as you can. Have them run and touch this thing at the very last turn. Have these guys continue firing, move up and fire. Have them try and contest this thing. Luke needs to basically jump over and start hacking and slashing things apart. Alright, so on to turn 5. Likely going to see... Oh, he did take push. Alright, so Return of the Jedi coming out. Luke issues an order, gains a dodge. He activates any troopers within 1 to 3 of them can remove the suppression, so it removes the suppression of this guy, and likely that guy, so that they can activate. I would activate purple first, then yellow. Probably this guy. Try and save him and him for last. Try and burn some of their activations first. This is actually coming down a lot more to the wire than possible. Yellow is like way out of the game at the moment. They need to get into the game. They're missing out right now. Purple and green need to get up here and start shooting things. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 activations against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 activations as well. So it's currently tied up. However, there's a lot more models available here than there are here. That said, this group here needs to get in the battle about 2 turns ago. The fact that they haven't been in battle is kind of rough. They need to be in battle. Okay, they're moving again. Never mind, don't need to say anything. So anything is still possible. It looks like these droids are going to try and roll around to eliminate either Luke or try and eliminate the Rebel squad here. Also, they're going to basically form a wall here to prevent anyone from moving into the terrain. And they're just going to blast Luke, because once they take out Luke, that's pretty much game. So, that is 2 against Luke. That is not nearly as good as one would have hoped. So 2 saves on Luke. Guess he's dodging the 1. Oh, and he fails it. Luke now on his 6th and last wound, so he's going to have to put that one on stims. So that squad doing exactly what they needed to. There is indeed this medic way over here. I just don't know if they can get to each other in time. Because Luke is all the way over here, and Luke would die after he activates, so there's no way those two can come together to make it happen. Luke is sadly going to die after his activation. I think you run him in there and try and cut down this squad here, because it's only 4. Might as well try and cut them down. No sense in going after these guys, because there's a bunch of them. Try and finish off activations. I would say go after this guy, too, but he's a single model. Go after the 4 piece. Going in here is kind of a waste, because you're not going to eliminate an activation. You need to eliminate activations, man. And he's not going to eliminate activations. Unless now he might be seeing that. Now is what he's probably doing. So he moved this way to get around having to use jump. And he's probably jumping into combat with them. Yep, it's exactly what he's doing. Almost like he read my mind. So why is he not able to do that? Ah, because he's jumping that way. So they must be saying that that was a jump to get there. And now they're going to try to... He should be able to move in contact with the battle droid here. He could force push these guys out of the way. Well, they're not troopers, though, are they? They are not. So he can't push them, I believe. He probably has enough space right here to land, I think. Unless he pulls them towards him. Which I think is what he's doing. Yeah, because that way he can drop him right next to him. And there we go. Does exactly what he needs to. Force pushes him into combat with himself. Well, not into combat, but into an area where he can easily get into combat. Rolling out 5. 6, apparently. And he slaughters that squad. He does have surge to crit, so yeah, that is all 6 hits. So there you go. And yes, the answer is he did jump. So that is how you eliminated another activation, which was a good choice. They're going to aim and fire, try and really deal with... he did not do the Son of Skywalker, or was it Return of the Jedi thing? Or did he? He might have. Wow, blocking all the hits from the droidekas there. That's incredible. Alright, so on 2 suppression, they're gonna have to panic. Looks like down this way is their option. Oh no, looks like north is their direction. So they panic away. That is absolutely huge. Because that means that's one entire round of shooting wasted that they needed. So this squad activated. This guy hasn't. These guys haven't. I would roll this dude up here and fire at this battle droid right there. Well, if he even can. I don't know if he can. Alright, so these guys activating. They're going to go ahead and march. Get shots on purple by the looks of it. Poor battle droid fell over. There you go. Gonna be a bucket of dice going against those troopers there in the barricades. And you see is a total of 3 hits, so it's gonna be 1 save. And getting it. Man, these rebels are just hanging in there by like the skin of their teeth. Certainly hanging on long past their due. Yeah, I would activate purple over here. Try and burn that suppression down. They do not, so fire. Fire whatever's weak, and that's in range. The answer is no one. There you go. Oh, nope, those are the wrong guys. Yeah, these guys should be in range. Sorry, he must have had them highlighted. So yeah, they could fire at the single dude if they wanted to. I think it's a bit of overkill. I would save it for these guys. But again, hell yeah, no, that's what I would do, is I would fire at likely this squad here. Roll these guys around if, well, I don't know if they can even make it. Not a lot of good options. Alright, firing away, I don't know at who. Getting 3 crits in. And taking 3 wounds on that one guy. Well, at least it eliminated another activation. So now there's only 3 squads on this piece of terrain here. Alright, these guys over here activate, but I don't know what they can do. Because the unit leader needs to be in contact, so they're just going to be dodge standby forever. I suspect you draw from the stack and activate yellow, roll them up and start firing at things. Try and start whittling stuff down. That's all you can do. I think at this point you have to ignore the droid echoes because you're not bleeding through all their shields. Try and eliminate some squads the best that you can. You've got a turn to eliminate squads or get in contact. Oof, taking 2 suppression off this guy. He does get an action. Well, with a singular action, I think... Well, he can melee to pull them off the terrain. Oh no, what are you doing? No, you can't do that. That's a complete waste. Well, that basically was the game right there. Because effectively what you could do is go into melee with them, pull them off the terrain. Or maybe he's waiting next turn to do it. Maybe he'll enter melee with them next turn and pull them off the terrain. This guy needs to basically double move. This is only hope. Yellow needs to move out and fire at, I guess, these guys. Because I don't know what yellow's doing as is. The answer is not a lot. Oh man, no, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. You need to double move him so that he's ready to jump on the objective next turn. Where he's currently at, he's not going to be able to get that objective. Yeah, I mean, go into melee and try and make it so that they can't hit you. Yeah, he would have had it too. Purple or green would have to double move to get there too. There's a lot of things that would need to happen. I'll put it that way. Well, he gets a hit. What? That was a weird roll. That was a weird roll. Good thing he did it on purpose. Alright, so looks as though yellow's going to activate. They need to move up. They're going to have to double move. There's nothing else they can do. Again, they should have been out a turn or two ago. Probably 2 turns, if not even 3 turns. They should have been firing this whole time. Wait, is he not activating them? He seriously is not activating them. Wow. So standing orders. Against standing orders. I cannot believe he didn't activate yellow. Yellow needed to be like in the battle turns ago. Red keeping priority. I guess he can try and panic droids? But they can activate them before they'll panic. I don't know how this is winnable now for Col-Ki. I think he might have dug himself a little bit of a hole by not activating yellow last turn. Oof, trying to roll that suppression away does not make it. They're just going to get a single action. I guess you attack and hope you eliminate something. Hope for huge variance against these guys. I mean, it's possible. That's about the only thing that's going to happen at this point. And he gets a singular crit. Not enough. That is game, man. I don't know what else you can do. That is pretty much game with that one. Sad to say, he tried his best, but it did not work. Because now they're just going to activate. Likely fire at one of these two, or split fire. Yeah, go for the elimination. Makes sense. Manages to get one crit in. That is kind of what he needed. Oof. And yeah, at this point there's absolutely no way to win. Alright, continuing the battle. The lone trooper over here. Rebel trooper, that is. Gonna move out. I'm gonna engage the droids to pull them away. But sadly, less than relevant. Nope. Yeah, I mean, that's very true. Proton charges that could have been thrown into the squad would have been a huge deal. I suspect we're gonna see, yep, you're gonna see these guys get loaded up with more suppression. Oof, 5 hits. And 3 wounds going through. That's going to be everyone except the leader. Another trooper. Likely going to have to be, yeah, I was going to say either green or yellow. Take your pick. Barring an amazing roll here, it looks like he's going to panic, and he does. These droid boys over here, they're going to aim and fire at purple. Looking like they're getting 2 hits in so far, but that's going to be negated by the cover. Getting, yeah, just those 2 hits, so a suppression. Not a lot happening there. Then finally, yellow squad. Moving into contact, so that way they can actually claim this objective. But should have been a several turns ago. Alright, and with that, that is pretty much game because they have 1, 2 objectives to 1, That's game, because there's nothing happening there. So I'm going to go ahead and hop in their channel real quick and say, hey. As soon as I can find it. And there we go. Hey, gentlemen.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're calling the game at this point.
Yeah, that was
that was the last action, so.
Alrighty. Well, what did you guys think? Any thoughts going in there?
Yeah, I was actually pretty scared going to it of all the saboteurs and stuff. Because droids have bad saves, but the fact that they don't care very much about suppression meant that when I did get hit by a bomb in Sabine, it wasn't as bad as I.
She did quite a few wounds, but yeah, the suppression game was not that big of a deal because Grievous was close enough that they weren't going to panic.
The other
yeah,
thing
in the end, that explosions of mine was actually like a negative. You know, it did more damage to Sabine than it was worth, basically. I think.
Yeah, it's like I think it killed. I mean, it took down the shields on that one Droideka unit, which ended up dying, so that was good. And then it did some damage to the other Droideka, but it regenerated it, and then it killed like 6 droids. But 6 droids is like 36 points. It's like
yep.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's a 36-point Sabine right there.
What I really struggled with was like I chose this spot as my, my SAB area.
Yep.
But really, it wasn't quite good enough. You know what I mean? Where I couldn't kind of place bombs with impunity.
So
hence couldn't wait you out.
Here's my eye-in-the-sky reporter opinion of what you could have done, and it's probably not the best idea, would be to basically throw each of those saboteur squads away by running them up and throwing a grenade in the mess and detonating it, and just accepting the fact that they're going to die.
Yeah, just thinning him out, basically.
Yep,
just they did all die without doing much. Yeah.
It might have also meant that I would have had to split up my fire more instead of just focusing on.
Yeah, because even if they were to just run out there expecting to die, that would have been a grenade that they could have gotten off and had done something, as opposed to, I think you got a singular charge off. So
yeah, definitely.
Again, it sucks because you'd be throwing them away knowingly, but at least they would have done something.
No, you're right. I think the more aggressive strategy definitely would be better, especially since Kingsley split his army in half.
Yeah.
So if I could have just tried to annihilate one half,
and then you could have choke pointed them between the two buildings.
Yeah, and I get like it also like if I'm doing that, running out with a, Luke could maybe also even walk out to the middle of the table and be like, well, if you can shoot me if you want, but then you're not killing the saboteurs. You know.
You have 5 other threats here. Which one are you going to pick from?
Yeah, and also would have given my Z6... No, that's a good idea, because then the same turn, Z6 squads can also kind of move up to good positions and be like, who are you going to punish?
Exactly. That said, Yellow Squad, they were hanging out for 5 turns. They really need to be out there probably turn 2 once they were...
Yeah.
Because that could have been 4 shots a turn into the droids, and the droids can't survive anything.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but like on average into heavy cover, they do nothing.
Yeah, well, that's also true.
Yeah, there's always the chance to get the crits. I don't know, it's tough.
That's true.
I mean, this is all said hindsight, which during the game I'm sure you had a great plan and you saw everything working the way you wanted to. So, all completely.
I would not claim that. Yeah, I mean, I had kind of an idea to attack you from 2 fronts, but just because I didn't think about the fact there's nothing here. So
yeah, that's a rough spot.
If that attack over here had been more successful, I definitely would have moved them out to support it. But because all they were doing was just like annoying the edges anyway, 1 extra squad annoying the edge. Yeah.
I like the deck.
No, I think it is good advice, Doc. I think you're right there.
I have not, like, theoretically speaking, I haven't been that impressed by the Decas, but I felt like they did quite a good job this game. Suppression was very relevant.
I was going to say their suppression was doing more than their actual wounding.
Yeah, they're really hard to kill.
That
one unit died, but it took a lot of punishment. The other one is full health because it regenerated the only damage it took.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it took several units worth of shots to take down a singular, 80, 100-point unit? So
yeah, I think it's 100.
And you were saying about Luke?
I really wanted to get Luke into those Droidekas, but there was never a good time.
Now the problem is
Yeah,
he
he
was
could have
on.
attacked the Droidicus instead of the squad at the end, but he wouldn't have killed them, and then he would have
Exactly.
died,
Yeah.
and then the remaining one would still have its shields up.
Yep, and that was actually my exact thinking was what you were doing. I was calling it out even like before you activated Luke. I was like, he needs to activate and pull that one squad over and slice and dice it. Otherwise, it's an activation that's going to just be left alone that could easily be killed. And you did exactly what I thought, so it worked out. Great minds think alike. So, Kingsley, I know that I've been stepping on your toes. Is there anything you'd change in this list, or are you pretty content as this sits?
I think this list is pretty good. One thing that I am thinking about is whether or not you need the rockets. You know, you could change the rockets for just the normal E5C. I've also thought about linked targeting arrays for the Decas. And I've considered tenacity on Grievous instead of endurance. It kind of depends. I feel like Grievous's weakness is suppression, so you want to have endurance. At the same time, this game he was never seriously suppressed, so maybe tenacity would have been better this time. I don't know how often it would.
I was going to say, because you had endurance, it wasn't a problem. If you put tenacity on him, he would have been suppressed out. It's just how it goes.
Well, I mean, I think you played it well too. Like you never, if you'd given me an opportunity, I definitely would have tried to suppress our Grievous.
Yeah. Yeah,
but because
that scale is pretty nice.
Because you went in this area where I didn't want to go, basically, and yeah.
That said, are you surprised that Luke was able to take down Grievous?
Neither of us really knew what that was going to be. Both talking about it in the game, we were like, I don't actually even fight. I think my defense dice were a bit worse. I do think Luke is sort of weird because they're both really good on offense against each other. And then defense is sort of command card dependent. I didn't get a chance to use Supreme Commander, which is kind of Grievous's best move for this sort of thing because you can get Guardian while in melee.
Yeah.
And that makes it really annoying to try to kill you, even with like a Jedi or whatever, because if they do like 4 hits and you take them on 4 battle droids, like darn.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, surge tokens change the math, but I was thinking it would probably take 3 or 4 lightsaber swings to kill him.
Yeah. And
I got pretty good with my lightsaber swings. It was like 6, 5, 6, I think, with the 3 rolls.
Close to it, yeah.
I think 2 of those were using a name as well, though, but still.
I think he had like slightly bad luck, but like I don't know. I think him dying in 3 swings is not that unlikely, because he does only have impervious instead of immune to pierce in melee.
Yes, and that is kind of big. But even then, it's kind of an even trade. Yeah, I think it was just the luck of the die went a little bit more Luke's way this time. That initial opening salvo from Grievous, though, one more hit, and that could have been a easily gutted, one-shotted Luke.
Yeah, his offense is really, really... And on defense, he's kind of like the normal droid, where he doesn't quite as good defense as the other Jedi, but he also has 8 wounds, so you're less vulnerable to bad luck.
Yep, for sure.
In the preparation to this game, that was the one thing I was really worried about. Is like normally I just like to hide Sab somewhere where they can't be seen, but then that scuttle, and then the area of effect, like it was just like, oh my god, what am I gonna do?
So that's
and my answer was I don't know. So
yeah. So that said, I want to make sure that everyone knows that Kingsley's list is just straight out of the core. You could effectively build this list with just the core set, minus strict orders and endurance, but most players have that already. So you don't need to go and buy anything else.
A card pack, you can do this.
Yep. So this is
That's
effectively...
how I built this. I was just like, what do I want to play out of a core set with droids? And this seems pretty strong.
Yeah, so this is effectively 2 core sets and 2 B1 expansions.
Yep. Though it's more efficient to buy 3 core sets and trade the other half.
For sure, cost-wise, but then you're not getting binos.
True.
But that's a whole different story for a different day.
Yeah. I think there's also, I was playing earlier against someone who had droids with much fewer upgrades. Like, he only had heavy weapons. But he had less stuff on Grievous, but he had 3 Decas. And the suppression from 3 Decas is no joke, so that was an interesting list also. I do think there's some variety, but I like these big battle droid squads because at least while you have aggressive tactics going, they're basically like a Rebel Z6 squad, but actually even better.
I think you do still want at least one squad with the uplink.
Yeah, I agree with the uplink. I'm not as sure about the rocket, but I agree with the uplink.
Well,
The rocket never felt like it was much different to your other shooting, to be honest.
Yeah.
the rocket
main
will
thing is,
help
like-
when in more of a tournament circumstance where you don't know what you're going to come up against.
Like double
Yeah.
tanks or something.
And I think with the also with the new tanks coming out for the Republic and the the Separatists, whatever, the AAT and the Saber tank, you might need more impact in the future.
I
Because
agree.
your droids don't have impact. I see.
You could also easily swap a bunch of those things for the new droid sniper, though. Honestly, I think if you take this list, and this is at 792, and you swap all the heavy weapons, including the rockets, for the droid snipers, that's a pretty scary list. Though I don't want to buy 6 of those packs. We'll have to see.
No one does, but I feel like a lot of people are.
I'm
Just
not
win a
gonna
few
buy
tournaments,
6.
get some store credit, everything will be fine.
The other thing, though, is that if you're using aggressive tactics on your droids, the this gun is better than the droid sniper.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But if you're not using aggressive tactics, it's the other one is well, actually, it's complicated though because you also have to have orders on your. But I haven't found having orders on my guys to be a huge obstacle.
Well, I would much rather spend 10 points rather than what, $150?
Yeah.
So,
Also, aggressive tactics is like completely broken, and it should probably cost more than 20 points. I think it's auto include for Republic and Trade Federation, and I think it's like worth considering for Empire as well.
oh, for sure, because now you're getting 3 up stormtroopers and guard and everything else.
Yeah,
It's really interesting how close that one surge takes the battle droids to be like equivalent to a Z6.
yeah. By
You know, because often on
default, they
defense you only need one of them. Even on offense, often you only, you know.
Yeah, this squad is like 60 points. A Z6 squad is 62 points. I think this squad is better. It's a little bit worse on offense, but it's much better on defense. And
That's what I'm
then
saying. I
if you
think that one surge can bridge that gap in the offense.
Oh yeah, it more than bridges it. If you have the full squad with the surge, it's something like 4 hits on offense, which is better than the Z6 squad's 3 point. So yeah, droids are pretty scary.
That said, the only thing that I saw you getting into issues with was cohesion and just group spacing, clustering, I should say.
Oh yeah.
And that I can see becoming a huge problem for the Confederacy.
Yeah, it's definitely a big downside of theirs. No question. That's one of their main weaknesses.
Because you're going to quickly cut off your own troops from being able to get places, especially because you can't move B1s through droidecas. That's correct or no?
They're ground vehicles, right?
Yes.
So you can't move through ground vehicles.
Yeah, so that can also become a problem. So, but that's food for thought. I mean, certainly played very well. Both of you played great. Came down to pretty much the 6th turn.
Yeah. By the 3rd turn, I was already telling Kingsley I'm just playing for fun now.
I mean, there were some points there where it was still
It
doable.
ended up being closer than it looked at that time.
For sure.
Yeah, but I mean, having said that, Kingsley, you still had so much force in the middle of this board. It would have taken a lot to swing it, even though it looks close.
But that's what rebels are built on. They're built on
Decas
hope.
would have been extremely difficult. Because they have heavy cover and they have 4 shields, 6 wounds after the shield.
Yeah, because like you were able to play pretty casually here, but if you'd needed to just like move squads to not leave space for rebel troopers to run up and stuff like that, you definitely could have done that.
Also true, yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and close out the stream. So thank you for letting me stream your game. Much appreciated. I'm going to hop out of your channel and I'll just review my closing stuff. But thanks again for letting me stream. I hope you guys had a good time.
Thank you. Hey, Kings, can you stay on for a little bit?
Yeah.
All right, so while they review their stuff, I'm going to quickly go over the games that are coming up. We have... The hell is my list of games coming up? We have another game tonight, which actually started about an hour and a half ago, or was supposed to, between BG Moore and a Space Viking. Apparently that is not currently going on. Tomorrow we have a game at noon between Mitro and Riggins. And then tomorrow night, I am at 8 o'clock Eastern. I am fighting Hustlin' Fett. That'll be a giant bunch of dewbacks. Sometime tomorrow, Dash is supposed to play Undead. And then Monday, Madman Rambler is supposed to play S. Jones. And that pretty much does it for me. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I appreciate it. Thank you again for the subs and the follows. You people are awesome and make this totally worth it. Come back out and check out all those games. And just keep tuned in to the various Discord channels, and we'll keep you up to date. Thanks, everybody, and I'll catch you next time.